So, back for another episode of Believe in Boyt with this hard Trick Room Green team. I am a big fan of the gravity strategy so that you can make your sleep moves much more accurate, and this team is no exception. I'm having a lot of fun using it. This will be the last episode using this team though, so if you are interested in using the team ID's in the top right, in the description, poker base there as well. You know the drill. Let's get into some games. I was going to say standard Dondozo, but then you don't really see Gardevoir too often on Dondozo. Then the Gardevoir could be in prison Trick Room here. So I need to fake it out and then hope it's not Covert Cloak / Ghost Terror. If it is, oh no. Oh, but if I leave with Bronzong, then Golden Go is going to be able to just Shadow Ball me. And I can't fake that out. So then I'll just Terror into the Dark type. Definitely Azumarill. Like, Azumarill is amazing here. So long as I get into Trick Room, Azumarill should be sorted. And then I will bring Scarlet because there is a Dondozo. That is how that works, right? Right. So, things to be scared of. Golden Go means I probably need to Terror with the Bronzong. Gardevoir means I need to fake it out and pray that it is not Covert Cloak / Ghost Terror and Imprison Trick Room. If it's not Imprison Trick Room at all, then I'm fine. If it's just Choice Scarf Gardevoir, that'd be fine. So, we'll see if I have too much to worry about. I may do, but we will see. I wonder how much a Hex will do to a sleeping Dondozo. Those are cool trainer cards. It's got a two-shot it, right? But there is Golden Ghost, so I need to fake out the Garchomp now, and I probably do need to Terrestrialize. That means I won't be able to do it with my Scarlet. And I'm going to break the Focus Sash on the Medicham by going for fake out into the Garchomp. So this was probably one of the worst case scenarios. But I will fake out the Garchomp, and I will Terrestrialize. But if they go for Make It Rain, then I lose Medicham and I'll be able to get a Gravity and Sing. And then that would not be the worst thing in the world. Here comes the Ghost-type Garchomp. Of course. If they do go for Make It Rain, I'm going to be sad that I wasted my Terra. Oh, it's not wasted Terra, but, you know. Not efficient Terra. But they did not Terrestrialize, so I am okay with this. I wonder if a fake out into a close combat will KO Garchomp, because a Terrestrialize one will. No, that'll fall just short, won't it? I'm breaking my own Focus Sash, unfortunately. And then is it just Make It Rain or is it Shadow Ball? It's neither. Okay. Like, I'm still getting Trick Room and I'm forced to switch, but did confirm it was Choice Specs. So, yeah, not a useful Terrestrialization here, then. So now it is just close combat to Garchomp, and now Scarlet or Azumarill, because Azumarill is so good here, but switching it in on the Make It Rain is not ideal. Switching Scarlet in on an Earthquake also wouldn't be ideal. I'm going to switch in Scarlet. It'll make me weaker to a potential Dondozo in the back, letting it take damage because I don't have Slack Off. And I don't get to set Gravity either, which is a bit annoying. So that trick was quite unfortunate. Garchomp's going down to the red. Okay, I'm fine with that. That's alright. That one's alright. Unless they're switching Dragonite and Earthquaking, that's worst case. That's worst case. Be strong, Medicham. I know you're not quite strong enough, but be strong. Oh, you are strong enough. Nice. Well done. So that was me thinking that Fake Out in close combat probably wouldn't get it, but it did. Well done, Medicham. So Medicham is very strong. Like, a close combat coming from an Adamant Medicham is one of the strongest attacks in the game. Especially the Terrestrialized version. So that was pretty sweet. And there's Gardevoir. There's no Dondozo, so I'm okay with that. Now, Extreme Speed probably KOs my Medicham, right? So I will now switch back out into the Bronzong. It is a Dark-type Bronzong, which is not the most ideal thing. I'm just thinking, do I go for the Sing? Because if I Sing the Dragonite and I do connect, then I'm just sorted. I'm going to be greedy. Because I'll get my Throat Spray if I hit this Sing as well. So, like, 55% of the time I'm alright. It's a shame I wasn't able to get my Gravity. But Medicham is absolutely going to be bopped by an Extreme Speed. Bronzong is probably just about two-shot, now that it's not a Steel type. And it is now weak to Fairy as well, so this was one of the worst Terrasilizations I could have gone for. But it did make sense against Golden Go, but it was... That's not Dragonite. That's a normal type, but it's not Dragonite. I'm glad I didn't go for a Shadow Ball or anything. That's not doing as much damage. That is Choice Banded, but Sing, yes, no? Nice. That's very good. But yeah, normal type Gardevoir. Not sure what that was doing there. Well, that's alright. Because now I should be able to just Gyro Ball and Torch Song KO that now that I'm +1. It just hasn't been. I'll chunk the Bronzong. But not enough. And I'm pretty sure the Dragonite was Choice Banded, so if I just leave it as Choice Banded against a Ghost, then I'm fine. That was a very surprising choice of Terrasalization. I was expecting a normal type TERA, but not that Pokemon. So, Choice Specs Gyro Ball, let's go! Nice chunk of damage. That probably won't KO, because Gardevoir's got some pretty decent special defense. Yeah, that's Assault Vest. That's got to be Assault Vest, right? Oh, not quite. Okay, that's just a bulky Gardevoir. Another doesn't gleam. I'm slowly being put into Shadow Ball range. Because it's not Choice Specs on the Golden Go anymore, so... I'm slowly being put... Oh, actually, no, I can just Close Combat KO the Gardevoir now. And I can Hex the... Yeah, I can Hex the Dragonite, because it's not a normal type. I wasn't expecting to be able to do that, but now I can. One turn and Trick Room left, correct? Yes. So. Well, I could Close Combat the Gardevoir and Torch Song it to cover for the Golden Go. That's probably smarter, right? Well, the Hex will do a lot. It's better to Torch on the Gardevoir because it's going to switch to the Golden Go, but it's not. Okay, fair enough. Is this going to KO the Medicham? It shouldn't, right? It's not normal type. Yeah, good. And I also wanted to see how much Hex would have done, but it woke up, so... Yeah, that's multi-scale, definitely. But there is the KO there. And now, if Skeledirge can survive Shadow Ball, I win. Because Dragonite cannot touch the Skeledirge. I guess it could eventually struggle. That is now what this will come down to. Can I survive the Shadow Ball? I'm pretty bulky on the special side. It is not Choice Specs. I would expect to survive. So I will let my... Yeah, I will let my Medicham go down to the Extreme Speed. Torch Song will KO the Golden Go. I will survive the Shadow Ball because it is not Choice Specs anymore. Based on the Hex damage through multi-scale, I reckon that would have OHKO'd if it was in a focus and stayed asleep. I mean, I am strongly assuming it's Choice Banded based on the damage. But, of course, Skeledirge being wonderfully bulky, and you got rid of your own Choice Spec. Where is the Skeledirge? Why is it off the screen? Oh. Well, that's surprising. I was strongly expecting to survive that attack. I'm pretty sure that I'd EV'd it to survive something like that. I'm quite surprised that KO'd. And now the game is over. While I have time while I'm being bodied, I will look up that calc, because I'm surprised that got me. Because I've got a pretty decent amount of special defense investment. So it wasn't choice specs, because they got rid of it. Rolls. Apparently, if it was modest max, it was looking like a 50-50 split. So, like, my damage intuition was still correct, like, within the margin of error, but did not come out on top there, unfortunately. So that was just a little bit unfortunate there. Glamora is starting to pick up very slightly. It's still a worthwhile Pokemon. It's definitely picking up. But that's a very similar team to previously. Like, the top 4 are exactly what I just faced. And then it's Gyarados and Glamora instead of Tatsukiri. That's funny. And I just fell short in the previous one. So, let's do in this one. Don't like Mudsdale here. Well, actually, if I set Gravity... If I manage to set Gravity, Mudsdale's alright. But it would just be the setting of the Gravity that would be the issue. So I'm going to lead with Toadscrew and Bronzong, and I'm expecting to just go straight for Spore and Trick Room. And if they lead with Golden Go, then I get to Spore them and I'll Trick Room next turn. Don't like Skeledirge as much this game. It was only brought previously because there was a Dondozo that didn't actually appear, so a Azumarill is coming, and... Medicham is okay. I think I am actually going to bring Mudsdale. Because like I said, if I do set Gravity, then it's actually quite effective. And if I don't set Gravity, then I can just go for Rock Slides instead. Oh, they're going to time out. Oh, that was close if they timed out. Like, if they lead with Garchomp and Golden Go, then I'm going to assume that that I'm facing the same 4 as I did previously, because they might have timed out. It would have been very close there. Those are cool trainer cards. Alright, so here we go. That is quite amusing. Like, you never Earthquake here, right? I'm strongly assuming you never Earthquake yourself unless you are flying Terra. That would also be reasonable. But I shall Spore the Goldengo, and I will just... This time I will see what happens if I don't Terrestrialize. Okay, that's Life Orb and Shadow Ball. So let's see what happens. Much more preferable. Yeah, way better. Much better turn. So, do I get my Gravity going? I think I do, right? Because I can go for Earth Power into the Golden Go to 2-shot it. And Gravity so that... Yeah, Earth Power into the Golden Go. Gravity for Hypnosis and Sing's Wing in the back. Ideally, I lose Toadscrew this turn. Like, they get a high roll with Dragon Claw. But that's easily a 2-shot. That's why. Okay, that was important if Toadscrew does survive. Because the Citrus Berry would have activated, but now that critical hit has put it in range of 2. But I will also be okay if the Toadscrew goes down here. But there is the Dragon Claw. And they do get the high roll. / critical hit. Nope, just high roll. So, that's alright. Because now, I get to go into Mudsdale, and I click High Horsepower into the Golden Go slot, and I click Hypnosis into the Garchomp slot. Then I will just do the other thing the other way around next turn, for like the next 3 turns. So, High Horsepower in... Do I need to Terra Ground? Not yet, because it's definitely KOing the Golden Go. If they switch into Gyarados, that's not actually a switch in. Because I'm in a focus, and they are on the ground now. So, this is alright. So actually, the critical hit on the Golden Go made no difference at all, because they would have been just bodied by that. Even just not even going for Earth Power wouldn't have mattered. Might have been better to get the chip into the Garchomp, actually, because then that would have put it in high horsepower range. Come on, you've got no switch in. Something's being KO'd in that slot. I'm pretty sure everything gets OHKO'd by the high horsepower, actually. Gardevoir would. Dragonite would survive. Dragonite would survive. Go on, Terra flying with your Golden Go. Please. Please. Ah, not quite. That would have been so funny. But Garchomp's going to sleep, so that Terra does not affect me in the slightest. Very nice. We've already seen its life orb, so it can't be Lumberry. And the Golden Go slot is very much gone. Now, Gyro Ball and High Horsepower would KO the Garchomp. So is it worth going for that? It will depend on what comes in. On whether I need to Hypnosis that thing. Gardevoir. So that might be Focus Sash. So I think it might be optimal to go for High Horsepower into the Gardevoir. At this point, I think I do Terrastallize just to get the extra power. Just to make sure, because I'm not really Terrastalizing anything else, because it's a Zoomer away in the back. And keeping Fairy would actually be pretty good. So, yeah, no, I'll... Actually, no, if I Terrastalize, then it might Oko the Garchomp. That might tip it over the edge, actually. So let's see how strong Mudsdale can be. Can it Oko this Garchomp? If it can, I am super sorted. Supposedly. I think Mudsdale actually looks pretty good with the Ground Terror. Well, the Terror, like, hat is way bigger on Mudsdale than it is on Garchomp. I know it's to do with the size of the Pokemon, but it's quite big. It's like an umbrella. Be strong, Mudsdale. Nice and Ground Terror boosted. Choice Band, High Horsepower. And gone. Nice. So Mudsdale was definitely a good bring to this game. Now the Gardevoir may wake up, but if it doesn't, then I should be pretty sorted with this. Because if it's Gyarados, I don't care. Intimidate doesn't affect me. If it is Glamora, yeah, that's facing the same 4 Pokemon again. That's quite funny. That is quite funny. Alright, so we've got one more turn, right? Yeah, one more turn, but 2 turns of Gravity. So I will not close combat, High Horsepower the Gardevoir. I will Hypnosis the Dragonite. Extreme Speed should not be able to get to the Bronzong, especially because they've already used their Terra. Dragonites can be Lumberry, though. But it's not an unreasonable thing to see Lumberry on the Dragonite. But no. And then we'll see if it's Focus Sash on the Gardevoir. It is Focus Sash on the Gardevoir, but they also need to wake up this turn. And even if they do, I'm still okay. So they do not. So I do try and set Trick Room here. We'll see if I actually manage it. But well, it's probably better to just actually, if Bronzong is able to attack this turn, Gyro Ball KO into Gardevoir is better, because I can just now actually, because Gravity's about to end. So I do actually need to be careful here, because if Gravity ends and then Mudsdale's stuck High Horsepowering, I can't hit the Dragonite. No, I think that's okay. If I get this damage into Dragonite, then Azumarill should KO it. Because I'll just be able to play rough KO. And the battle's cancelled anyway, so, like, they technically had a chance, because, like, if they managed to get into a position with Dragonite to be able to... Azumarill beats Dragonite, so actually, yeah, there was no chance. Mudsdale was just amazing. So Taurus is actually picking up. Because I'm recording this after day 1 of the San Diego Regionals, and Taurus is actually being a Pokemon there. Which I'm not surprised in the slightest about. Like, people were saying that Intimidate was dead, and it's clearly not. And then people are only just realising. But that is a cool team. I do like that team a lot. I would absolutely steal that team. So Toedscour is pretty good here. Because Murkrow can't taunt it, and it can spoil the Golden Go. Azumarill is very good here. It just needs to be careful as Serena. Skeledirge is okay. It would just need to be careful of... Like, it would need to be in Trick Room, basically, for Skeledirge to be okay. But if it is, then it is actually pretty decent. Mudsdale... Nothing's off the ground except the Murkrow. That's always okay. Do I just go with this passive thing again? No. No, I'm going the hard Trick Room route. I'm not going to go Gravity. And I'm just going to hit all my things, regardless. Where were the trainer cards? What just happened there? Did I miss the trainer cards? That was weird. Right, so, not ideal for Medicham. I can't fake anything out, unless I am Baller and fake out the going to Terrestrialize Pokemon. But I'm going to Trick Room with this, and I will attempt to Zen Headbutt the Dragapult. And it appears I could have been Baller. Because if that's Golden Go... Oh, that Golden Go was the one I was going to fake out if I was going to. So... Fair enough. But I should survive the Banded Dragon Arts and make it rain, right? Because I'm turning into Water type to resist. Like, I'm losing Medicham here for sure, right? But I might take too much damage that I'm not able to Spore the Golden Go. So then I'd probably have to Earth Power it instead, put it in range of Torch Song. But then I can still sweep through with... Actually, no, like, supposedly Toedscruel is getting Trick Room up this turn, right? That's absolutely banded. Yeah, I'll survive. So I did need to Terrestrialize there, though. If Toedscruel didn't Terrestrialize, it would have been... surviving on like 1 HP based on that damage. But, yeah. Bit of a shame I did Terrestrialize them, but it doesn't matter, because now I can just go into a Zoom Roll. Play Rough into the... That means I can Spore the Golden Go. Do I even need to? Because I might as well just Earth Power 2-shot it, right? Because I'm supposed to just sweep win these 4 turns, which I definitely can do, because that's Banded Dragapult. Did they have a Fairy Switch in? I always press the wrong button when I'm checking the opponent's team. The Fairy Switch in is on the field, and there is Volcarona in the back as well. Yeah, I'm just going to Earth Power to definitely put the Golden Go in Torch Song range, and I will just play rough this Dragapult, even though it's going to switch into Volcarona. But it did not, so that's fine. So I got to sweep in these 3 turns with the Zoom Roll, and Scarlet. Was it Scarlet? It was Scarlet, wasn't it? Which I could do. Because that's a huge chunk. Oh. That's not the worst thing. Like, because the Zoom Roll can still just hit that slot, and Skeledirge would have still KO'd the Golden Go. It just happens that Toedscruel's going to do it instead now. And it's just Murkrow. So they can quash. So therefore... Ooh, okay. So I might need to Rage Powder then. Just in case there's a quash. Because ideally I just play rough KO the Murkrow. Ooh, Rage Powder and play rough the Murkrow is actually probably best. Right? Yeah, because then that will take away the quash. Then that will KO the Murkrow. Take care of that, and then I can get the double KOs next turn. And that is... probably most ideal. So I'm content with going for this. There was no quash, but is there just going to be a taunt? Which won't do anything for them because I Mental Herb? I'm not really sure what the point of that was, but fine. Like, you outsped everything anyway. Like, bringing Murkrow against Hard Trick Room is just dead weight unless you have quash. So I'm fine with that. Because now it's just Earth Power into the Golden Go and then a Zoom Roll is going to go for Liquidation into that slot unless it's Serena, and then it's Play Rough. And if it's Serena, then Skeledirge is 1. But it is Taurus, so Play Rough should still KO that. I was considering sporing the Taurus, but for some reason, most Tauruses at San Diego are safety goggles. Like, safety goggles is a fine item, but I don't get it on Taurus yet. Could someone explain to me why Tauruses are majoritively running safety goggles? Like, I know ignoring Amoongus is a good thing, and missing play rough is a bad thing, but it still seems odd that they are majoritively safety goggles. Like, Taurus Water, like, or, sorry, Taurus Aqua Breed can't really touch Amoongus, so it's a good thing to ignore it. I don't know why the Fire one needs to ignore it, though. Just flare it's the Amoongus. To be fair, that Aqua Breed could still do it, because it's against the Skeleturge. I should survive Raging Bull. I wouldn't survive a Wave Crash. I've still got one more turn in Trick Room, right? I should still have one more turn in Trick Room. So... yeah, okay. So, I reckon a Hex and a Liquidation would get it. Like, 2 of them. But I think it's still optimal to play rough just in case, because if they do manage to KO the Azumarill and then they do have a Wave Crash, then I would lose. So I think I still need to go for play rough. And I do connect, so it doesn't matter. So, that's fine. So we'll never know about the Taurus. But I did expect it to still be able to OHKO with the Intimidate, so that's pretty sweet. But that was a cool team. Like, I do like that team. But bringing Murkrow against Hard Trick Room is a bad idea. There's the trainer cards. Don't know where they were at the beginning.